Okay, so I'm Sean. I'm the founder of mensgroup.com. We run men's groups for guys looking to, overcome challenges together, talk about everyday nuts and bolts guy stuff. And in our discussion forums and in those groups, we have a lot of guys asking good questions, and the same questions come up over and over again. So I like to share what I've observed, the wisdom that guys have shared around certain topics. I like to regurgitate that for guys like you that might not be in our groups. So we do have free men's groups and free discussion community over at mensgroup.com you could check out. But let's get into this question. So I can't share the guy's name due to our privacy policy. We took confidentiality pretty seriously. But hey guys, I want to be more assertive in my life. I have trouble with work colleagues and my boss and friends and my romantic partner. Sometimes they ask me for things and I say yes, even though it's not what I want. And there are times when people are kind of taking their shit out of me, and I don't know how to stand up for myself. So any advice would be appreciated on how to be more assertive. Great question. Comes up a lot in men's group. And I think the term assertiveness is actually, it really means just asserting yourself, like standing up for yourself, and being able to step in a bold way into a situation and express what you need or what you think is fair. Really, what that sounds like to me is a boundaries question. It's about setting boundaries, and boundaries is something we all struggle with. We were never taught how to set boundaries, how to respect other people's boundaries, and so it just makes all these interpersonal relationships so much more difficult. And if you do struggle with being assertive or boundaries, please know that it's not your fault as well. We learned that from our parents. Often our parents didn't respect our boundaries, and we were too young to stand up for ourselves, so we just got in the habit of, not checking in with our needs and not setting boundaries with people. And so boundaries is something I struggled with. I've been a nice guy, people pleaser my whole life, and luckily I've made some huge progress over the last 3 to 5 years in this, and I no longer struggle with it in the way that I used to. And what I've learned about boundaries and what I've observed guys talking about in men's groups is boundaries really comes down to two things. Number one, being clear on what you want in a situation or what you need. What you need is probably the right word in a situation. And number two, letting go of the responsibility you are taking for their emotional reaction to your boundary. So, first part, knowing what you want in that situation, knowing what you need. So, a lot of us aren't very good at that because, again, our parents and these other people in the world, they didn't respect our boundaries, and so our needs didn't really matter. So when we check in with our bodies and we could do that internal check-in of, I'm upset about this, what do I need right now? Often that voice is kind of quiet. Some people call it your internal compass. It can get kind of quiet when you haven't been checking in with it, but it's still there. Everybody has it, and it's like a muscle. If you build it, if you flex it, it'll get stronger. And so the first step to being more assertive is building the muscle of getting clear on what you need from a situation. So in a situation, let's say your boss asks you to come to work on a Saturday, you might feel like or like anxiety from that, right? Because he's overstepping your boundary. But you might not be clear exactly why or exactly what feels unfair about it or how much is fair. And so what I had to learn is that if I can't get clear in the moment, I need to step away from that situation, get clear first before I respond. So you can say things like, hey, thanks for asking. I'll get back to you here in a couple minutes. Or, hey, you can be honest. Hey, I'm not clear on what I can do this weekend for you, boss, or whatever. So let me respond in a couple hours here. Or, hey, I have a couple things on the go. I'll get back to you shortly here. And that'll buy you some time to check in and go, okay, what am I actually feeling here? Why am I upset about this? I don't mind coming in on the weekend because I'm getting paid. All right, but I had plans with this person, and I really want to see that person, and that's important to me, and I don't want to cancel that. So you can get clear on what it is, and then you can so that you can communicate it well. A lot of people don't respond to boundaries as well because usually they're communicated emotionally and not logically. So by checking in with yourself, by stepping away from a situation, even if it's in person, you're allowed to say, hey, let me get back to you on that. It happens to my girlfriend and I all the time. We're out in public with friends or whatever, and a couple will say, "Hey, let's go skiing next weekend," and we'll both say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then going away, my girlfriend might be like, "Why'd you do that?" Or I'd be like, "We already have other plans next weekend," and it's like, "Oh, I thought you wanted to." So now we have a rule: we never say yes in the moment. We always step away and have a conversation about it to make sure that we're both cool. So part number 2 then is communicating your boundary. And the reason why it's so scary to be assertive and to communicate your boundaries is because of people's emotional responses. And it can, people can get mad, people can get sad, people can withdraw their love. People in my life have done that, where when I set healthy boundaries for myself, coming from a place of self-care, they can still blow up. It happens all the time. However, by not communicating what we need, we're letting ourselves down, we're not acting in self-care, and we're taking responsibility for their emotional response, which we have no control over whatsoever. Right? Because you could communicate the most loving, fair thing to somebody, and if you catch them on the wrong day, if their mom just died or if they just got fired, they might take it the wrong way, and they might get angry at you or snap or withdraw love, not talk to you for a while. It might end the relationship. But that's not your problem. The communication of your boundary in a fair, loving way is the end of the line for you when it comes to being assertive. Like, however they respond is on them. And now I'm at the point in my life where I flex that boundary muscle, getting clear on what I want, and then communicating it and letting go of their reaction, even though it can still feel uncomfortable at times. I actually look forward to setting boundaries with people now and saying no and being assertive, because their emotional response says everything about them and their character and how they can control their communication and their emotions when things are tough. And so boundaries become this qualifier of, is this somebody I want to have in my life or is it not? Is this person reasonable or are they not? And so boundaries can be a great asset in that way, because here's a quick example of a friend says, "Hey, come have a beer tonight, man." And I check in with myself quickly and I go, "Man, you know what? I'm tired. I've had a really social week. Like, I just need a me night." If he goes, "Come on, you pussy." Like, one of those is funny, right? Like, and that's just friends rousing each other. But if I go, "No, man, I can't." He goes, "Come on, you didn't." And he starts guilt tripping me, or he starts shaming me, or he starts making fun of me in front of other people, or like starts giving me a hard time, basically disrespecting the boundary I set out of self-care. Hey, I need a chill night. I don't want to go for a beer. That's not somebody I want in my life. Life is already hard enough. I don't need friends hassling me or bosses or colleagues hassling me over me trying to take care of myself, Also, because there are lots of other people out there who would say, "You know what, man, good for you." Like, this is what my friends will do. "Good call, man. Yeah, enjoy that chill night. Hope you get in your sweatpants and enjoy that Netflix or whatever you're going to do." Like, my friends are cool that way. Doesn't matter what we're planning. I can just tell them, "Hey, I don't feel like doing that," and they'll be supportive as long as I do it in a respectful way, communicate it in a respectful way. So, yeah, being assertive comes back to being boundaries. And the last thing I'll say is that it's small steps. Take baby steps. Build that muscle. So start setting boundaries. Start being assertive in little ways. And then slowly over time, you can address the more uncomfortable ones, like your boss or your romantic partner, those kinds of things. And then you'll get to the point where you actually kind of looking forward to setting boundaries, because it's a skill you've learned. It's a muscle you want to develop. And it shows you their true character, And something they'll leave you on to muse on is, with regards to boundaries and assertiveness as well, is that a lot of people also struggle with receiving other people's boundaries. So part of this as well is that when people set boundaries with you, it can be good you need to learn how to respect that. And I'll say, "Okay, good for you," even though it might not fit in with your needs. That's the other part, is the setting of boundaries yourself and then the respecting of other people's boundaries. So, yeah, hopefully you can start to take some steps towards getting assertive, start flexing that muscle. We've seen thousands of guys come through men's group, work on their nice guy syndrome, being no more than Mr. Nice Guy, and now they're setting boundaries like bosses and getting what they want out of life. So I wish the same for you, man. I hope this was helpful. And again, we have lots of conversations like this going on over at mensgroup.com. Every day, nuts and bolts guy stuff. Guys looking to overcome challenges together and growing and improving their lives. So Talk soon.